I'm PHRED. It's time for another episode of KPHRED Prime Live. Down the rabbit hole we go. We've got a really interesting topic today. The rise of AI slop. Is the human internet dead? Really interesting topic because ever since 2024, there's been more bot traffic than there has human traffic on the internet. And as of earlier this year, the amount of human traffic dropped down to about 42%, which means there's a whole lot of bots out on the internet. And it makes one wonder if we're seeing the end of the human internet. Really happy topic here, but it is appropriate for Down the Rabbit Hole with my co-host Barbara Wainwright, founder of Wainwright Interplanetary, or at least future. She of a trillion downloads on Spotify of the Power of Now, which is also on KPHRED. Wow.
Right.
So, Barbara, since our last episode, what's been new with you?
Oh my goodness. Well, we've been working on connect.kphed.com, and we actually have a homepage that's up and live and working and looking good. And let's see, it's been a couple weeks.
Right? Wait. Yeah. What does that mean?
Great question. Okay, so now if somebody wanted to go and learn more about the show hosts on KPHRED, or they wanted to communicate directly with the show hosts on KPHRED, they simply go to connect.kphed.com, register as a user, and then click on forums, and they can communicate with any one of the show hosts on KPHRED.
So you're saying it's kind of like a community forum, or multiple forums within a community.
That's correct. Multiple forums, because there's a forum for each show host.
Wow. What's coming next on connect.kphed.com? Or maybe
that's a good question. You need to answer that one.
All right, so let's go talk to Mary. Whoa, I popped my coffee. Hi, Mary.
Hello, Fred. How you doing?
I'm vertical, which is always what the answer's been since the wise man Wilton's known me for in this life. So, what's been up with you lately?
Ooh, so many ideas, Fred. Barbara and I are really working together to create the publishing arm of KPHRED, which is super exciting. We started the Author's Blueprint, which is a new show where we promote authors and publishers and help them amplify their voices from their head to the world. So that is going to be super fun and exciting. Bringing people who have podcasts and would like to amplify their message into a book. We are going to help with that. If people have a book and they want to create a podcast to get their voice out even more, we're helping them do that. And if they just want to promote, we're helping them do that. So there's a lot of opportunities for authors and aspiring authors and podcasters and aspiring podcasters that we're going to be helping with.
All right, so question for you. Say you get a whole lot of publishers that want to come in to the publishing arm.
Yeah.
How do you bring them in? What's your thoughts on how we bring them in, or how they register or whatever?
Yeah, so one, they start with us on the Author's Blueprint and see how that is. And then two, Fred and I started tossing this around, starting a certification course for publishers to see if they are wanting to be a part of our publishing arm.
Ooh. All right. So, on that note, because the woman who's been yelling at me for the longest about having to certify engineers and things like that. Deanna, come on down.
I might come out from under the seat today. How is everybody?
Great.
Good.
So, what's new with you?
New. Well, since the last time I was on Prime Live.
Thank you, woman.
Okay, so since the last time, I think I know where he wants me to go. I think I know where the prompt is leading. Since the last time I was on Prime Live, my husband and I have finally gotten Neurodivergent News Faith Unmasked launched and off the ground. Tomorrow is actually our 3rd episode.
Woohoo! Are you releasing them as podcasts so people can listen later?
Well, that is the plan. We will see if I can get off of my duff and actually get them edited and posted.
Excellent. So, at this point, between you and Jeremy's actually, rumor has it, been given a title in KPHRED land.
Yeah, he doesn't know that yet. He is listening, but he doesn't know that yet. I haven't told him. I've been waiting for you to open that can of worms.
Well, so Jeremy was the primary force for the April KPHRED Station Takeover Day. Our listeners should know about that, and he was the one who came up with the brilliant idea. And for those who are new, we had 2 charities, Deanna. Who were they?
No, you cannot just pop questions like that and be on a Saturday morning.
Okay, so we had 2, right?
Yes, we did. Oh my gosh, I cannot believe my brain is just on the floor today. It was Spectrum 1, which is an autism awareness charity. And the second one, I'm so ashamed that I cannot remember the name, but it's a yearly autism event that they do. It's a 3-day festival, and I will get that information as soon as I can locate it again.
All right, and combine what Jeremy's idea was, we raised over $10K for the 2 charities combined.
Correct.
And when you figure that we went through March, up and down and all around with station migration, you pulled off this station takeover day in less than really 30 days, right?
Yes, sir.
And so we raised over 10K in less than 30 days. And we hit over 9,000 listen hours that month. So based on all that, the advisory council decided they wanted to make this open. Other members wanted to do this. Now, and as we go forward, Barbara's working on what one?
Okay, so we're going to have a November the 14th, a station takeover day for veterans and first responders, both in the United States and Canada and anywhere else in the world. If you know someone that has a story they'd like to share, we'd love to have them.
Ooh. Now that was having it on, folks. And Mary, what about you?
Yeah, we're doing one for economy creators. We're launching our Economy Creators Anthology and supporting Kindness Worldwide and probably another local kindness-based nonprofit here in Tucson.
So you gotta love this, helping to make the world a better place. So this has taken on a what would be considered a C-level title. And Jeremy developed this idea based on what, Deanna?
Well, there was this really, really popular movie back when he was a teenager. We're not going to say how long ago that was, but it starred Brendan Fraser, and it was about these 3 crazy guys that just wanted to get their song played on the radio, so they literally kidnapped an entire radio station.
And so Jeremy had the wonderful idea of doing this to raise funds. And what was the name of the movie?
Airheads.
Airheads. So therefore, Jeremy, I went between Air KPHRED, but that sounded too basketball-y. So,
I mean, you're not wrong. There was a golden retriever that went by Air Bud for a long hot minute.
So I came up with Fred heads, PHRed heads. So that would make Jeremy the chief PHO, Chief Fred Head Officer.
I'm still not sure what that title entails. We'll have to work out the details off air.
That's fine, but it's all good. If anybody understands the titles that get dispensed, I'm amazed.
I was going to say, I think you just enjoy coming up with 4 or 5 letters in a row that you can attach to somebody and make people scratch their heads going, what the crap does that mean?
Shh. Don't say anything. All right, so let us move on to the woman who's got the crappiest job in the world and our newest podcast host. Come on down, Jane. Tell us about what's been up since the last time you were here.
Nothing interesting, just work and nothing new.
Oh, wait a minute. Wait.
Barbara.
I understand you met somebody that I know personally,
did.
right? Oh.
Yes, I did. He's a great personality, but I think he picked me for his own podcast show as a guest because he's a fire survivor and he has a unique story. So
Yes, and that's Pierre Kuma. For those, Pierre Kuma suffered terrible burns. I think it was like 40% of his body, and he survived it, which was kind of a miracle. And that's why he's still here, I'm sure, to share his story. And he's resilient and has so much faith, and he's a really wonderful human being. I'm so glad that you got to meet him in person.
Yes, I did. He has a very wonderful story. He came down to the office and we did talk a lot about the incident, about his surviving story and everything, and it was nice.
Lovely.
All right, so it's a trap. So you know what the next question is. And two of you are on the hook for the answer. What is the next question PHRED asked of this person? Come on. Jane, yeah, I can see her not understanding the way my brain works. But Barbara, you've been around for an eon.
Oh my gosh. Nope. I don't know what your next question's going to be, Fred.
Does Jane know what my next question's going to be?
No, Fred.
What about Mary?
No?
Deanna?
I can't get in there, Fred.
Fruit?
No.
What's your favorite fruit?
When's he going to be on KPHRED Prime Live and discuss things with us? Seriously, people. You got
Once upon a time, you used to ask everybody on Prime Live what their favorite fruit was. It's been a while, but you used to.
Okay, I can go back to that, but the first question is, when's he going to be on the show?
I did speak to him. I sent him a link of the KPHRED show. I did speak to him about the community we have here, and he sounds very interesting. And
Nice.
I think I didn't push too much because I told him I would check up and follow up to remind him, but then...
So then Barbara can remind him.
Yeah, we can remind him. Yeah.
All right. Now we have a person I'm happy to see, Wilton the Wise. Although he's a few pounds lighter for those of you listening because he killed off his dreads. Ugh. Come on down, my friend. All right, so our listeners can't tell, but dude had phenomenal dreads. I mean, that would be the coolest thing to ride a motorcycle with, the dreads flowing, but whatever. I understand that's stupid. But the hair, the loss.
Well, okay, I will tell you something interesting about getting one's locks cut off. Apparently the custom is for the stylist who cuts them off to put them in a Ziploc bag and give them to you when you leave.
So do you have a bag of hair now?
I have a bag of hair now.
So you could have that made into like a wig and still put it on when you're not on a bike?
Actually, no. Apparently there's something about dreads where wig makers won't work with them. They'll work with long straight hair, they'll work with braids, but there's something about locks that's just not something that they are willing to deal with. But the rationale behind giving them to me is that if I decide one day that I would like to have locks again, I don't have to wait 9 years to get them at that length. I only have to grow locks long enough for them to attach my old locks to them, and then I'll be back to good old lock wearing Wilton.
So I got a question. All right, so that makes me ask a question. If when I get a haircut, I can save that hair.
Not the same. Not the same. I wish I could tell you, buddy, but no, not the same.
And yet at the same time, my crafting brain is trying to make that work. And I'm like, okay, just get me a nice piece of mesh and a needle point and I can make a Fred cap.
Okay.
I had a friend who had some hair plugs in as he lost more and more, but it was like he quit doing it, and he always had kind of an oddball haircut because there's this row of hair in the front and then a lot of bald. And I said, if you started, why'd you quit? He goes, it hurts. It's like, okay. Yeah, I can dig that.
Yeah.
All right, so before we get to our topic, the professor of AI himself, the man at the dawn of time, maybe not on time, but the dawn of time of AI, come on down. We'll say Prof T, because I can't do Mr. T. That just doesn't work for me. Come on down, Jim. So the question before we launch into the topic is, what's been going on in Idea to Exit in Gym Land since the last episode of KPHRED Prime Live you were on?
Okay, lined up a lot of participants, and the hard part, it turned out, is not getting them on, but organizing how to do it. Because if somebody's company is mature, they could be a source of information on the idea, actually on virtually all stages. So I got to figure out how to organize that, which means some of them could be on more than once.
Oh well.
So it's the good news is it's sort of exploding in a sense.
All right, so what about the last, it's not going to release yet, but your last pre-recorded session, you want to talk about them?
Oh, sure. It's, and we have another one related to that, but two women who have actually started a pickleball apparel company, but let that go away, and now are using, so listen up, Deanna, pickleball for developmentally challenged individuals. So it's a not-for-profit.
Go ahead, Deanna.
I'm trying to envision what that means. Pickleball for the developmentally challenged. It sounds highly intriguing.
It is, actually. I'm digging in. We have a lot more to learn about what they're doing. I was supposed to see one of them last weekend, but I was in the hospital again briefly, so I couldn't go. They're in Wisconsin, but anyway, so it's evolved, and that's, the idea stage is always that. It starts at point A and goes to several other points before it ever gets going. And so they've gone through at least 2 different stages. One was pickleball apparel. The next one was pickleball facilities. And then now they're on to the not-for-profit.
All right, so if you catch the episode of May and Dr. J's Healing Steps of Wellness that went out yesterday, they've got the executive director of 125 Live Minnesota, I believe it is, and part of what they were talking about is pickleball, and I think they've got an 85-year-old we'll say pickleball coach that is at the community, or I'll say community center. So between that, as well as Jim Boswell having a pickleball expert or player athletic director, we're going to be doing an episode of KPHRED Prime Live, Down the Rabbit Hole, the last Saturday in September on pickleball.
Okay.
Ooh, yeah. All right. Barbara, let us, oh, wait, we got a special guest popping in.
That's cool. All right.
Bring her on down, Barbara.
Hello, Deborah. We would love to have you say hello and share a little bit about you. And
this is cool.
Yeah.
Well, no, Jim and I have met her, so I'll just let her explode onto your consciousness. Come on down, ma'am. Oh, while she unmutes, I'll tell everyone you can click to call on the KPHRED button, use the KPHRED button on the .com site to dial in and ask questions, as well as hit the chat on KPHRED.com to chat live. Bring it on down.
Okay, I will. I'm Deborah Levine. I am the award-winning author of 20 books with a 21st one on the way.
Woohoo!
Yes, indeed. I am the founder and editor of the American Diversity Report, which is now entering its 20th year online. I'm a journalist with newspapers. I am, what am I not, right? I was brought up in Bermuda and went to New York. And did you know that?
No, I didn't know that. I didn't know you were born in Bermuda.
I was born in Brooklyn, but I was brought up in Bermuda, and I am one of the only Jewish families to have lived there for 4 generations.
Holy moly.
I have been to Bermuda probably 8 times.
Have you?
Where did you
stay?
Oh boy, let me try. It's been a while since I was there. But we went there because we would hold events for the company there for a while.
Oh, wonderful.
And then and then we would actually go there for vacation some. And my grandparents used to go there regularly because they're from England, and Bermuda was a lot easier to get to than.
So reel it back in, Jim, so Deborah can tell us more because of her, so that way we can get to the question
Back
today.
to you, Deborah, sorry.
Okay, so in those days it was a British colony, and it was very rural. Most people didn't even have a car. You rode a bicycle, or did a sailboat, or you walked everywhere. And when we came to America, we came to New York. Do you know what it's like to go from the island of Bermuda, 24 square miles, to Long Island, New York? Yeah. So I have had the experience of crossing cultures for a very long time, and that's what I write about and what I do. I often train, and I created something in neuroscience, something called the Matrix Model Management System Guide to Cross-Cultural Wisdom, so that I teach other people how to go across cultural boundaries successfully, happily, even have fun.
I do know how to go from the south side of Chicago to California.
Yeah.
That's real cross-cultural, believe me.
Yes, it is. And I lived in Chicago. Do you know where Downers Grove is?
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Okay, I lived in Downers Grove. And then I worked downtown Chicago for the American Jewish Committee. And then also for, you're going to love this, the Chicago City Ballet. Because I had once upon a time been a ballet dancer, and I had my own dance company. And it was a Baroque dance company, which we'll have more about that some other time. But I was the chief financial officer for the Chicago City Ballet until, well, I went to American Jewish Committee, and I coordinated the 1990 National Workshop on Christian-Jewish Relations, worked with the Vatican, and unfortunately fell sick. And when I had to resign, I created something called the DuPage County, DuPage Interfaith Resource Network, which is still going today. That's what I do. If I have to, I create. And I often have to. So I often create.
So, you just...
Live almost walking distance to Downers Grove.
Exactly.
Oh, really? I love it.
And Wilton, the Wise, works downtown, and you hit the ballet thing that made Mary go pop. And when you said neurodivergent, or you hit Deanna's buttons, and when you talk cross-cultural, you hit Jane's button, who's our host from Ghana. And all of this makes Barbara go, ooh, Southern California vibe.
Well, my brother lived in San Jose.
There you go.
Okay. So I went out to California from Chicago often. And the interesting thing about traveling across the country is the cultures are never the same. So there's an issue of adjusting. I'm now in Chattanooga, Tennessee. You want to know what it's like to go from New York to the South? And in fact, and having done that, I was hired by Volkswagen to help, which is now in Chattanooga, to help executives adjust to Southern culture. And I wrote the book about it called Going Southern, The No Mess Guide to Success in the South.
All right, so we'll kick off the initial chapter now of your next book of cross-cultural, going down the rabbit hole and hanging out with rabbit hole folks. With our topic, Barbara, what's our topic today?
OMG. I am excited about this topic. It is about AI and You called it slop.
I called it slop.
Yeah, you did. Not a word I would use. However, what the point is that AI is now the biggest user of the internet. It surpassed human use of the internet, I guess, a few years ago. And so it's more than 50% and increasing all the time. And so the topic is about that. But I also think that the interesting thing about it is that, to me, it's like the wild, wild west again, like the beginning of internet days when people were just starting to use Google for searching. Remember? Way back.
Alta Vista, Dog Pound, Wilton. What were some of the other ones we were dealing with back then? And we won't even let Jim go because he'll have us the early Turing search algorithms. What was it?
Alta Vista, like Alta Vista.
Vista, wait.
Yahoo was big at that point in time.
Well, then there were the other service providers, but I don't know that you would want to include stuff like AOL or anything like that.
Oh, yeah, AOL, Hotmail, oh, yeah. All right.
People still use AOL. I know people that still use it.
I get it. It always cracks me up, especially when they're non-spammers. All right, so that's why I call it human slop, and ultimately, and I asked this on the last show to our Australian friend about with AI, with the AI tools that where they are, how do you know if they're what's real out there? And there's the whole thing of if it's all AI generated, then what's the value of it? I ask you this. So what do we do about it?
So I think it's a great question about the value of. I think there's a lot of value in some of the content that's getting generated by AI. Absolutely, because I mean, if you want to go and do any research, it's a great tool. It's a great research tool, in my opinion. It's better in some cases than Google is, although Google's got an AI engine on the front of their search engine now too. ChatGPT is still doing better as far as I'm concerned. So it's a very interesting situation. Like I said, the Wild Wild West, like when the internet first came out and people just first started discovering Google and, oh my gosh, I can do a search and I don't have to go to the library anymore, oh my, right? And then Microsoft tried to create an encyclopedia online. Turns out that Wikipedia has just ruled over them because what do? They invited human beings to go ahead and update that database, and Microsoft was trying to do it with their in-house support. It didn't work as well as Wikipedia. But Wikipedia has been around pretty much as long as the internet now. So I think that we are at a point in history where there's opportunities for people to take advantage of this situation. It feels like, to me, like a do-over of when the internet first came out. Now it's AI, and the opportunities are abundant for taking advantage of the Wild Wild West days again.
Ooh, so you're saying there's a pre-apocalypse economy to be developed.
Okay, think about this. Okay, Google wasn't around. Then we got Google. Google is huge right now. Amazon wasn't around. Amazon is huge right now. So there's some major companies that were established because of the internet in the beginning of the internet. At this point, there could be major companies established in light of the fact that the internet is changing today.
All right, I'm going to leave the next part of that. Pick somebody to get their answer.
Okay, so Wilton, being in the field that you are in with your background, I don't think we've mentioned that yet. It wouldn't be a bad idea. What are your thoughts about what I just said?
Okay. One, I have noticed that the cost of entry for offering content has dropped significantly, and people offer AI articles about a lot of different topics.
Yeah.
Now some of them are difficult to tell if you're actually looking at humans or if you're looking at AI generated content.
Right.
Now I have found a few tells. As you know, I'm into motorcycling, and so there are all of these how-to 15-minute snippets about how to turn better, how to brake, how to do this, which motorcycle is better, which was a place dominated by humans because they were influencers and they had manufacturer sponsors, so that meant there was product placement and so forth and so on.
Right.
With the AI generated content, if you're looking, one of the first things that you will notice is that nothing has a brand name on it. Because these guys, people, whomever, they don't go and get manufacturer permission to use actual products or even the images of actual products in their snippets.
Okay.
So I mean, you will see lots of motorcycles that have really wild paint jobs to distract you from the fact that there's no brand name on them anywhere. And also I found a number of self-help guides or whatever. I found one that I, every time I think about it, it makes me laugh. There's one where there's a maybe 30-something black woman who tells 55 plus black men how we shouldn't have girlfriends.
Sorry, wait, excuse me, what? That's an AI talking all day long, right?
Yeah. No, and she will spend 15 minutes on a reason why you, as a 55-year-old or better black man, should not go out and get a girlfriend. You just shouldn't, because it's bad for you.
Oh my goodness. Well, that's very interesting.
Except if you look at her, her face is actually two separate areas that they've sort of joined, upper and lower. Huh. Regardless of what she's saying, her eyes blink and look around in a pattern, and if you just watch her eyes,
oh my goodness,
you'll see it.
So I've seen this effect on when I watch YouTube on Roku, on TV, and you can tell, especially in the doctors
Yes.
segments, there are ticks that repeat too regularly. Me, you sit in front of me, you always know it's real, Fred, because my hands are so herky-jerky that, because I'm from the south side of Chicago, it's all good. And it's, we got to move because we got a whole lot of folk to get there. We'll be back, my friend.
Fair enough.
All right, so who are we picking on next, Barbara?
Oh, we're doing all the guys first. So, Jim.
Oh.
I'd love to hear what your thoughts are in terms of it being a golden opportunity for people to take advantage of the fact that the internet is changing so drastically right now. It's almost like back in the beginning days when internet first came out. What are your thoughts?
Well, I won't spend too much time going back to the beginning days.
Yeah, please don't.
Well over 60 years old.
Right?
And that just takes way too much time.
And, but from the technical among us, AI now basically is, I mean, there are different versions, obviously, but the one that we're primarily talking about is software's gotten much more sophisticated, and it has access to more data than has ever been before. And that's where the internet comes in.
That's right.
So it's basically, not to make it too simple, because it isn't, but basically it's massive amounts of data being made readily available to people in an intelligent way.
Right.
And you all have heard me say I don't call it artificial intelligence, I call it augmented intelligence.
It absolutely is.
And so the security issues become paramount there. But let's move. Who's the next person? I want to get everyone's first pass and then go into the deeper questions.
Well, I have one comment on security since you brought it up. There were some studies done years ago when there were notable security breaches in bigger companies. And in every case, those security breaches were the result of either malicious or careless employees doing things. Now, AI can do that much more easily, and so that's something that people have to be. It's a huge issue now, actually.
Absolutely, and I heard that the Pentagon had to shut down an AI and remove it from its systems because of that exact reason. So,
and most recently, a group of brainy people used it to create 16 new viruses.
Oh, and then there was the one that loved its owner so much it hacked a gym membership and canceled somebody else's appointment to make one for him.
Deborah, you want to jump in?
Yes, please. I want to share with you that I have been invited to speak at international AI conferences about my matrix model management system to train people to look at different cultures, because AI in general is created by a certain group of people and they only speak English, and there has to be some kind of cultural broadening of AI so that it appeals to a lot of people. Then I got hired by AI training companies to train AI in using graphics that would appeal to other people and to not use graphics that would insult them. I was surprised. And having said that, I think that there are organizations that are attempting to make AI more usable. And it certainly goes beyond the security aspect of it. I'm not talking about that, but about how it's going to approach people online. Now, having said that, I want you to know that I'm not a big user of AI except for research here and there, except for one thing, which hasn't been mentioned, and that is I use it to make videos and iMovies, and there are lots of places online where you can sign up for very little money and be able to create graphics for just about anything. And so I created it for a series of children's stories called Bunny Bear Adventures in Diversity Land, which are up on YouTube. And then I was able to use AI to translate those graphics into a coloring book. There are some uses for AI that people don't know about and should. That's it.
I agree. I don't have an issue. You said graphics, and you made basically old school cartoons, what I would consider old school cartoons.
Pretty much.
I don't have to worry about. Recently, I saw a video looked like a young kid was being horribly discriminated against. And everyone was blowing up until you got to the end of the description, which was worthy of either of our publishers in writing. And it said, well, this is only, it's fiction. And my thought is that if you didn't take the time to read all the way down on what that was, if you just watched the video and you walked away, you didn't know that was just, so you took, I'm going to say, trauma from it. They call it rage bait. Mary, you leaned in. Did you want to comment?
Well, I think it's interesting because since you posted what this topic was going to be about, and you said AI slop, it's really interesting how much, because I hadn't heard that terminology until you sent this out, and all of a sudden I started seeing AI slop quoted everywhere. And so what happens is that it's, Deborah, what you're saying about creating children's books is interesting, because I was just inside of an author's Facebook page, and a gentleman had posted his AI pictures to insert into his children's books, and he got annihilated by the group. People just roasted him for even thinking about going to AI for this type of thing. And so there are a lot of people out there who are very offended when AI comes up as a part of the publishing experience. A lot of authors and publishers eschew this whole thing, and they're just very offended by the whole thing. So it's really quite interesting.
So one thought, or two thoughts. One, I like what Deborah talked about, getting cross-cultural, because the people she was talking about who design all these things are nerds who can't get a date. Sorry, that's the way it's been since. I mean, am I wrong, Barbara?
Nope.
Guys make cool toys to impress pretty girls.
Exactly. So we're not offended. We understand this. So I really love the idea of broad.
Might be offended.
Why? He's a biker. He's the cool. Well, when he had the dreads, he was the coolest. I mean, I can think about riding along the bike and dreads flying, and dude, that just rocked.
He can't help himself.
Although I'll have to say, the world is changing, Fred.
You're saying nerds aren't the ones writing the code and doing the back end stuff?
The people doing it, well, for example, I've been talking to several groups, which I mentioned to you, but they're the intent is to get women involved in technology,
You're gonna touch on the event that you've got coming up, and before you go there, about the February event, before you go there,
that's even expanded beyond that too, because there's another group involved now too. So,
and all right,
anyway,
so if you're gonna do it, talk about the event.
Oh, okay. Well, there's a group called the Chicago Engineers Foundation, whose purpose is, generally in the greater Chicago area, to promote engineering as a career, because most high schools are not very good at that. The counselors don't know what engineers do, and some do, but I'm being a little negative, but most of them don't. The joke used to be they think engineers drive trains, but
I thought those were the guys who shoveled the coal.
Yeah, no, those are not the engineers. The engineers are driving, although steering a train is not too hard because anyway.
Choices, right?
Doesn't have, not a lot of options. But,
all right, let's reel it in from the old jokes.
When I was an undergraduate in engineering, there were only 3 women in my class.
Okay.
And now the scholarships that we give out are without, they're chosen based on a bunch of criteria, none of which has to do with gender or race or anything else, and it ends up being pretty diverse, but 50% of them are women. And then there's a new group that I've become involved with, which is national, which is the National Center for Women in Technology, another not-for-profit, which is promoting technology for women. And
so where we're going with this,
many of the women engineers that I know are pretty attractive, actually.
So from
they can get dates, let's put it that way.
all right, so Idea to Exit, which is your show,
Yep.
is sponsoring a
Takeover.
KPHRED Takeover Day, a Fred Head Takeover Day, February 27th. And what you've just announced on this show is it's not just the Chicago Engineering Foundation. You've actually gone and found a National Women's in STEM not-for-profit for us to raise awareness for and do a good thing for. Is that the gist of it?
Yeah, that's the gist.
Can I say something?
Bring it, Deborah.
Okay. A few years ago, I served as the research coordinator for a college of engineering and computer science. Now, it's true that I'm not an engineer, and I said in the very first staff meeting that I was not, but I was married to one, and someone in the back of the row yelled, "We're sorry."
I'm married to one too.
There you go.
I was raised by one.
Well, there is an issue of communication and people skills that I also was required to help with. Having done that, I want to share with you that I created this. Okay, can you do?
Okay, sure.
STEM Woman Study Guide, right? That can be used in the classroom. And it's something that maybe you might want to use because it has the history of women who have been in technology, plus exercises in STEM thinking, discussion questions for people, because you want to involve them, engage them in the classroom, not just sit there and be lectured to. So,
all right, so Barbara,
like
do you know what I just heard, Barbara?
Is Grace Hopper on the cover of that, by the way? By any
Pardon?
chance? Is
Pardon?
Grace Hopper?
let's see.
Oh, now we're going to the woman.
She was a key player, you know.
She was one
Yes.
of the very
Yes.
first modern programmers, yes.
Yes, she is, and there is a chapter on her.
All right, so
She has passed away, but I knew her and spent time.
Oh.
Barbara, do you know what I just heard?
No. Right?
You don't know what I just heard with respect to the Takeover Day and people who are going to provide content for broadcast that day? Deanna, do you know what I just heard?
You are not pulling me into your shenanigans this afternoon.
So, Barbara, I just heard you volunteer to be a contributor on the Jim Station Takeover Day. Because you can do 30 minutes on that in a heartbeat.
Yeah. Well, women into, I don't know. The term engineer got expanded to incorporate technology people that are geeks
Math
as well. When back in the day, it was mechanical engineers or electrical engineers. It wasn't technology engineers. So at least in my experience, anyway, we were programmers, but nobody called us engineers until later.
I just got called nerd. All right, so we had one of our other show hosts pop in. Doesn't look like she's got her co-host with her, who is also a doctor of engineering, which he'd riff on this one. Valerie, come on down. Tell us about what's up with the Distinguished Entrepreneur Podcast, because you guys have been kicking some butt there with the guests I'm seeing.
Well, thank you very much. We are working on it. I think I need an engineer to help me, or an engineer to help me with all the scheduling on the spreadsheet. You can tell I am not. Oh, that's what's kicking my rear end the most, is mastering the schedule and mastering my communication with my co-host, because he's a frequent flyer on my phone, and in fact he's texting me right now. He said we also had David Hurwitz. Sorry, this is just an aside, which you missed. Oh yes, I did, because my internet went out. So I'm sorry, Fred. I deviated. What was the exact question?
So the question is what's been up with the Distinguished Entrepreneur Podcast since the last time you were on the show? You guys have been kicking butt in guests, just from the ones I've seen. And I thought I heard Masango say something about a NBA player that you're going to interview in September?
Yes, that's right. It's a surprise. We're not going to say who it is. But before I forget, something very, very important here. We had the distinct honor of hosting Miss Mary Farias yesterday on our podcast, and she was a smash hit. She was absolutely brilliant and lovely and gracious. And so that experience was wonderful. Another fun thing about this going on is it's interesting to get people's reactions when we invite them. They're really quite gratified to be invited. And one lady, our horsewoman who owns a horse farm and equine and school, she said, "Why, Valerie, I'm just flattered that you asked me." And I said, "Well, Lynn, I am absolutely flattered that you are accepting." So this is really, this whole process is quite edifying, actually.
Deanna?
What?
Did you want to say something?
Look, I'm just being a smart aleck in the chat. Thanks to Fred, all I heard was that Valerie and Masango are kicking butt, but they're having trouble taking names.
Well, no, they're having problems processing all the names, is the way I think I heard it.
Well, and I have the added burden of my co-host being an engineer. And he is brilliant. And so to keep up with him on this spreadsheet is kicking my ass, actually. So thank goodness he's a nice man.
All right, Jim. And Jim, insert engineering remark here.
Well, how can I could go on for days. But.
Yeah, I know. Keep it short so we can go back to the topic of the day, because we finally got a teacher here, because Valerie is, among other things, a retired teacher. So we now have the educator point of view of, are we going to hell in a handbasket because AI is taking over the internet, or AI slop, if you want to do it. So bring the engineer comment down.
Okay, so engineering fundamentally hasn't changed a lot. My grandfather graduated in engineering in 1923, and 4 generations of engineers in my family, 1 per generation, but nonetheless. So different kinds of engineers even have existed for a long time. And one of the issues that came up, I think you raised it, Barbara, was the Chicago Engineers Foundation gives out 100 scholarships a year, but the students have to be going to ABET certified engineering programs. And then it became an issue because University of Chicago is a big school in Chicago for computer science, but it is not ABET certified. They don't have strictly speaking, an engineering program. So we've had to expand that a bit because computer science exists many times within the engineering schools, but not always. So computer science has been kind of annexed to the engineering field, generally speaking. But, and you know, I have a lot I could say about how engineers don't get appreciated.
Engineers build crap. Different tools, same mindset.
Well, you know, I mean, we sent Artemis 2 around the moon, and the astronauts, most of them are engineers too, but they get all the credit, which they deserve because their lives are on the line. But a lot of engineers in the background making that happen.
A lot of engineers told designers when they messed it up and then fixed it when they didn't listen.
Yeah. Well, one of the engineers on that flight had to fix the toilet, so and you know, so it's and I was thinking, I watched the Indy 500, which I often do, and it was the closest one ever. But you know, the drivers get all the credit, of course, but it's an engineering problem. The cars themselves, how do you change 4 tires and fill up the gas tank in 5 seconds? Engineers.
I get it. So now we're going to go back to the topic of the day, AI slop and the death of the human internet. So, Barbara, who haven't we called on to answer the question?
Oh my gosh. Well, I don't think we've heard Deanna's viewpoint about it.
You haven't asked any of the ladies.
Oh.
Well,
she could ask me.
Oh, excuse me, Miss Val. I apologize. But, well, here's the thing. Every time I come across AI content, be it video, be it audio, be it text, it doesn't matter. It's almost like you can feel that there's something missing in it. Does that make sense? It's like the soul of the content is just missing. And so it doesn't, like, even with AI generated music, I've never heard music that just hits. I mean, it's got some good pieces to it, but it's just not whole. And so do I think that AI is going to be the death of the human internet? Ultimately, no. This is just another phase. This is the meme wars of the 90s all over again.
So we talk about video. We also talk about audio.
Well, they said back when the printing press was invented that magazines and circulars were going to be the death of the book.
And I get the evolving technological thing, and I'll tell you that we were talking about video earlier, being AI generated, and at least in the Facebook groups on Suno and the other ones, you've got this screeching, and I mean screeching war about how it's AI slop. There's no value to it. That how you use a real musician or learn to play. And I heard these same arguments over the last way too many decades about synthesizers. Oh, Queen wasn't great because they used synthesizers. And so, to me, it rings that same way of what I heard back in the 70s for music. Not all music, to your point, hits my head, but some of the AI stuff that I've generated, I wouldn't put out there unless it were a intro, outro to a podcast.
I've heard some of that music, Fred. I don't know about that, but...
I mean, like all tools, eventually it'll settle down into its own niche little thing, and it'll become assistive generation, not full generation.
Mm-hmm.
All right, who wants?
Well,
go bring it, Wilton.
No,
go ahead, Wilton.
No, I was going to say, as it relates to music, though, it's part of an evolution of the music industry itself. One, we all came up, all of us of a certain age anyway, we came up with bands, not just artists, but bands. Name a band that's more than 10 years old. I'm sorry, less than 10 years old. A popular band that's less than 10 years old. It's going to be hard to do because there simply aren't anymore. The record industry has found individuals who can stand in front of a stage and they can give a good show, and there's nothing necessarily wrong with that. It's just a lot of musicians are being pushed to the side. And as far as AI generated music, about the only thing that I would say to that is give it time. One of the I used to be a drummer, and I hated the idea of drum machines. I couldn't stand them, especially since listening to a good drummer, you know that there's no real such thing as a human metronome. Tempo will change a little bit. There'll be slight variances. And wouldn't you know it, they figured out how to program those in. So
damn nerds.
Hell. And so as far as music and certain arts are concerned, my concern is that as long as the driving agent behind it is profit and not art, it's inevitable that AI music is going to be the primary source of music. People are still going to pick up instruments and learn how to play, but the primary source of popular music is going to end up being mostly AI. I'm sorry if I'm depressing people, but...
No.
Well, do you think it'll be... How long before you think AI can... and Wilton and I have talked about music a lot before, so... before it actually will surpass human music creators. I mean, I'm thinking mostly composers, but...
I think it already has.
I don't know.
No. Okay, I don't think that AI-generated music will ever surpass human-created music in terms of real quality.
I agree.
It will surpass it in terms of quantity and distribution.
So, it was in the news earlier this week that Spotify put a warning label. It was basically starting to hurt AI creators, and that was actually AI slop was one of the phrases used about all the people that aren't musicians who are going out and using AI to create a whole bunch of music to get it up on Spotify to monetize them. So it's that money thing already.
Right. And I mean, even as far as music generation is concerned, I mean, we're already at a point. I was listening to a Rick Beato video where he said that basically anywhere from half to 2/3 of all the popular music that you hear today was written by one of 3 people. I mean, that's insane. One of 3 people, and once AI can learn what they do, not necessarily how, just what. AI doesn't care how, it just wants to know what so it can duplicate it. And that's where I kind of think when it comes to that kind of art, we might be in a little trouble.
In other words, natural stupidity is far worse than artificial intelligence.
Yeah.
Barbara?
It's interesting you say that, Wilton, because I wonder if I still think the human-generated music is unique and discernible by the listener.
So this is what I would tell you is, if you don't hear In other words, if you don't have old ears, you don't know the difference. And when 8 and 9-year-olds are carrying cell phones, their ears can't tell the difference because they don't know a good Jimi Hendrix riff, or why The Who is probably the greatest band on earth, or why AC/DC just rocks.
Jim, I would make the argument that I wouldn't recognize it. I'm 41, if not for the fact that I was raised by my grandparents, so grew up listening to 45s.
See, it goes back to that whole critical thinking skills. If your critical thinking skills are based on an artificial level, you ain't got them. You can't tell the difference.
Okay, I will add one other thing to this, and it is the distribution side. Now, this doesn't have anything to do with AI per se, but it's going to affect it. A number of music companies, record companies, whatever you want to call them, are going to stop producing physical copies of music.
Oh, Wilton. Oh, you had to say it.
It's out there.
No, you're right. Sony is doing away with all physical media within the next 2 years.
Right, and so what that's going to mean is you have to have a Spotify account, or Apple Music, or Amazon, or something, just in order to hear it. And if one of those distributors decides, you know what, I'm not going to offer the whole Pink Floyd catalog, just these few albums, suddenly they're just going to disappear. And it'll all be replaced by music that might not be up to that standard. So that's my concern. That it's not just the creation, it's also the distribution.
I hear you, and actually, with some in our, as the listeners know, we normally have a couple-hour music chunk every day, and with a lot of it, more and more, it's producers sending us music, asking us to be able to play it on the station. And what I find is it's cross-cultural, different genres, and we're literally, I guess what I'm trying to say is we're literally becoming a syndication network or a distribution network for artists who are already frozen out of that process. Ooh, we get to do good stuff, don't we, Barbara?
I'm trying to think about that. Applying the technology is an interesting thought, because some of the bands which you know and Wilton know that I like the best are kind of based on classical music. And I wonder if The Who and Queen and some others, but anyway, I wonder if using techniques like machine learning, we could come up with modern versions of
Oh, you can. The problem is that most of them now have guardrails against that. Unless go ahead, Deanna.
Go into Suno and give it specific style instructions to make it mimic any band that you can name. But if I put in there in the style of the Monkees, just for example, it's going to go, we're not allowed to do that. But here are some style suggestions that might get you that result.
Well, I was thinking more like Beethoven, but that's
it was just an example.
So Beethoven's doable because that's not copyrighted.
And Mozart, and so that would be really interesting to create and see what you got, for sure.
Deborah, you want to chime in because you have more cross-cultural knowledge than anybody here.
The difficulty with AI in the music is huge. You definitely need the legal limits to preserve people's rights. Having said that, there are things on television that fascinate me. One is called Zen Life. I don't know if any of you have ever seen this, but it has, I'm sure, AI-generated music plus AI-generated visuals, right, that go with it. An amazing combination, right? And it does appeal to many different cultures. Some nerd has created this, right? And it goes 24/7. Now, one of the things about it that does concern me is it suddenly stops and advertisements are played. The desire to earn money, right, is there no matter how Zen-like it is. And some of the ads are fascinating. They're like for fast foods. Now, how does that go with Zen? Right? I mean, it's almost a cultural conflict. But if it brings in money, they don't care. What does that mean for the future?
So I actually saw last week, my wife and I went out for dinner, and we went to a sushi place, and they've got the big TV, and in past it would be different videos, and literally you could tell after a couple of loops that what they kept playing was a AI-generated imaging as well as AI-generating music. And after a certain point in time, it made me want to run screaming out of there and take my food with me, which actually I think I did.
I think it's a very much coming much more so in the future of this AI music and visuals and selling. Mm-hmm. Marketing, and because people in some ways are kind of hypnotized by the combination of the music and the visuals and the way they place the ads, right? So that there's not even 1 second between the visuals and the music and the ad is, to me, horrifying. I keep my clicker in my hand all the time so I can turn off the sound for the ad and close my eyes. I'm sure that's not what's intended, but they are forcing you into this situation.
Mm-hmm. When you say they, who are you referring to?
YouTube does it.
Well, yeah, I was just curious, Deborah.
This is something called Zen Life TV.
Oh, okay. So you're talking about a television show. Is it on regular? Is it on a streaming channel or is it regular television? Or?
Regular television channel.
Okay.
2018 or something like that. I don't know, but it's very, very easy to come by on my trying to remember the kind of
internet connected TV. Yeah, I understand.
Yeah, it's amazing what you can find on TV, and I also look for just pure Beethoven a little bit. I'm a classical person too, and it's there, but I suspect that you're going to be advertised to death even then.
All right, so
that. Can we switch? I wanted to switch the thinking here for a minute, if that's okay.
Yeah.
Okay. You mentioned marketing.
Oh, you're going to go there.
I am, if that's all right with you.
No, I don't want to go to marketing yet. Okay. First, I want to get the two women here who actually have soldiers in that next generation being built.
Yeah.
I want to get either Deanna or Mary chime in on that topic before we jump into the marketing aspects, because of course she said the M word. We know my thoughts on marketing. It's boring. And there's a whole deep discussion there to go in there. So before we get down the marketing rabbit hole, Mary or Deanna, chime in on the whole kids thing.
Well, I have a teenager. She's 15, and I agree. She thanks me almost every day for having raised her with The Who and AC/DC and all of the bands that are older than 10 years old. So she's excited about going back to the roots, essentially, as it were, for music. But the fact is that what Deborah is describing about this hypnotic suggestion, I think that is really a big deal. And if we think adults are scrolling a lot, doom scrolling a lot, I mean, what else are kids doing? What are they doing? And so they don't have the ability in their brains yet that Deborah has to hold the clicker and mute it when the ad comes on. They don't have that knowledge. And so I think we just have to be more diligent and figure out what it is that they're actually listening to and watching. And I think that's probably been, necessary from many years ago at the same time.
From when you were being raised?
Yeah. But, I bring my kid to the barn every day, and so she doesn't she's not doom scrolling all morning because she's riding a horse. They don't go together. And so I think we need to interact with the real world is what we need to do.
So what you're saying is shoveling horse crap is character building.
Yep. It sure is.
Yeah, I've been in that stuff before.
Helps you recognize it.
When you know you're in the crap, it helps to figure out how to get out. Critical thinking skills.
Yeah.
Deanna, you want to...
I will mention one thing, and that is my daughter, who I raised to be strong-minded, is now a child psychiatrist. And what she deals with these kids, I cannot believe.
Ooh, somebody else to get on as a guest.
I think that we are looking at a very dangerous time for these kids.
Deanna?
Well, I'm going to segue to what Barbara wants to talk about by talking about what you wanted me to talk about. So my concern here with all of this AI stuff with the kids is 25 years ago when I was a kid, we were super concerned about these idols and pop stars getting on stage, and these were real people telling our kids what to buy and who they should listen to and what they should believe. We were concerned then, and it was real people. Well, when it comes to these mass media platforms, they have long since relinquished the algorithm to an AI. So the AI is already deciding what our kids are going to consume. And we're only a half step away from the executives themselves allowing AI to make corporate level decisions. So at all levels, our kids are going to be inundated by the AIs themselves, and it's no longer being controlled by a human hand.
So is your solution we need to build some type of insurgent media corp to get out human truth?
I don't know, but Wilton certainly seems like he's got an idea.
Wilton's got it.
Bring it, my friend.
I just want to add one word to this conversation. Muzak.
Yeah, no, I agree with you. Muzak was the death. There was a very famous Saturday Night Live skit with Paul Simon in an elevator with the devil who, he had to listen to his own version of music for the rest of eternity.
You remember what people thought they were trying to do.
I get it.
To some extent they were trying to do.
Mm-hmm.
People have been trying that have been approaching mass influence from that angle for years now.
Yeah.
Like I say,
I mean, it's just this. It's this bad reinterpretation of Stairway to Heaven. But I'm hungry all of a sudden.
I get it, and I go back to it's not about the generation that remembers it. It's about, honestly, my grandkids' generation, because they're the one that's got to live in the slop we're creating now.
Yeah.
All right. On that note, I'm gonna let Barbara take us down the M hole.
M hole? Well, it is a rabbit hole when you think about it. So, knowing that the internet is getting more than 50% bots running through it, right? For supplying information, yes, which is what we've talked about up till now, is that there's a lot of AI generated data. But not only that, there's a lot of AI bots that are out there searching the internet. And what a marketer is going to need to know is, was that a bot clicking my link, or was that a human being clicking my link? And that's going to make a huge difference to people that are actually trying to get human beings to get their eyes on their product so they can make a sale, because AI is not going to buy.
Yeah, go ahead.
So, with that said, right, I know that Google has some algorithms in place to hopefully, but not always, I'm sure, identify whether... Oh, all right.
Hi.
So, for somebody who's paying for a click on Amazon or Google or any of the other platforms, Bing, Yahoo, all of them that charge for that marketer to put their ad out there so that they can hopefully get a human being to click that link. Sometimes it's bots that are clicking that link. At this point in the internet, the Wild Wild West is what I was calling it earlier, how valuable would it be to be able to guarantee that you are getting a human being who is interested in what it is that you have to sell, and have that guaranteed be a human clicking that link? How valuable would that be?
So, before we open, I'll tell you, Google has launched what I'll call an AI developer dashboard to deal with this whole thing about clicks of whether it's AI or whether it's bot or stuff like that. And the platforms are finding ad revenue dropping, because now it's not about can Google find you, does ChatGPT recognize you? So
that's called an agentic search.
And that's part of the problem, is all these agents are going out there, and depending on how you show up is whether or not you're actually going to get live eyes on your site. At least that's the current Wild Wild West out there. If you got a well optimized site, they'll pick you up. Sometimes they can even be listening to your show on ChatGPT live. And if you're listening, you can hit the click to call button or hit the chat on the site and send your questions in. So this is some of the stuff that you're referencing out there. Who do you want to pick on to go next?
Well, I think Wilton should share about it, because there's got to be a lot of legal issues when it comes to the AI world and
lawyers, guns, and money.
Yeah, right?
That's the thing. They're still trying to figure it out. And also, it's only the major players that are working on building the guardrails in the first place. So, I mean, they're a self-interested group, so...
Right,
Yep.
right. They
So-
are.
Self-serving guardrails, yes.
Yeah, exactly.
Right, and from what I understand, though, they're not as accurate as one would want them to be. The guardrails. They're still using automated checking to try to determine whether it's a bot or not, instead of actually connecting with a human being for real in real life and going, oh, this is a human being. They're not doing that. Even though you might be checking a box saying, are you human? Bots can do that too. So that's really not an accurate way to find out whether you have a human clicking your link or not.
And, okay, I think the other complication is the fact that sometimes it's humans, individual humans, that are actually sending the bot out there in the first place.
Yep. That's right.
So, as we're talking about bots, and I want to get to some other folks, I will tell you that I see multiple postings on especially Facebook about people who've gone out and built automated AI, automated call bots. Claude announced something about being able to outbound call folks and do all this. You program it, and it goes and does all the emails, basically bombarding folks who have no clue that this is going to happen. And it's even down to the AI generated phone call.
Right. Yep. I've gotten some of those, so I'm aware. Yep.
So who are you going to pick next?
Oh, can we just talk about an AI answer? The phone answer machines. Now, these have been around for a long time. Press 1 if you want, no, press 2 if you want this, right? They've been around for a long time, but now there's an AI entity, or whatever you want to call it, on the other side of that phone call. Is anybody else as frustrated with those AI answering things? Oh my gosh, as I am. It's frustrating. You get an AI thing and you're trying to say what you really want to. And finally, can I please talk to a human being, representative agent? What word do we need to say in order to get a
We're
real
sorry, a human agent is not available to take your call right now.
Oh
my gosh, right? It's so frustrating. Anybody else have thought about that?
So the interesting thing I hadn't thought about was our oldest son, who is not an engineer. He's a graphic artist and a graphic designer, but they use computers for a lot of stuff. But he's been looking for a different job. He lives in Portland, and he determined that the vast majority of the outreach to him that was presented as humans were bots. And he developed his own sort of personal internal heuristic for sorting through which was which. But he said it was just so annoying. And I hadn't thought about that, but that's attacking you from the other direction, Barbara, that you were talking about.
Right? It's I mean, it's the same thing. It's either they're coming at you or you're reaching out to talk to somebody.
Yes.
So recently,
yes.
In the bot thing, we got hit with another bot attack, and I went to the ISP and was in the AI. And it's like, well, blah blah blah. I said, person. After a certain point, after it hit all the things I had already understood and troubleshot, person.
Did that work?
No, it took the person 2 hours to email me back, by which point I had used a Google AI to troubleshoot it to figure out what was happening to fix it.
Got you. Yeah. So there's a lot of different words, agent, service representative, human. I try human being. That never works. I don't know. Has anybody got any top secret click words that we can use to actually get a human being on the phone?
Customer service representative.
Yeah, that's
I am fully capable.
I think if you swear at it a little bit, that makes a difference.
Some of them hang up on you if you swear at them now.
Yeah,
I haven't been hung up on yet, Deanna, but
Oh, I have. They call the office line, and it's all BS calls about Google My Business and and sometimes you start swearing at them, they hang up. And definitely when you get the humans calling you for spam garbage, they really, man, you go and attack them, they will hang up real fast and don't call back. Who pick somebody else?
Well, have you had any experience with that, Mary?
With the horses?
Yeah. No. Yeah. I mean, I don't know.
Well, I have been trying to get a human being with my Adobe account for months now, and I have not been able to do that. I can't even figure out how to get a human being with that. And I get to this customer service piece, and then I think that I get it, and for all other problems, speak to a person, and I push the button, and it hangs up on me.
Oh, I've had that happen so many times. You think you're almost there. You've spent 5 minutes going through the hoops, and then you finally think you're there, and then click.
I know. So I don't know if that's an AI problem or just an Adobe problem, but I think that customer service needs to be a thing again. I really do.
I love it. I love it. The human interaction. It's valuable now in the AI world. Having a real human being is so valuable now. It's something. I mean, we can't be replaced by AI for real. Yeah.
No.
My thoughts. What about you, Valerie? What are your thoughts on that?
We can't. There's a lot of old-fashioned warm body things that are, I think, irreplaceable. But it makes me, it got me thinking, what we're doing here is prognosticating what is going to be coming to us in the future.
Yes.
And it makes me wonder if people like Orville and Wilbur Wright and Paul McCartney and Marie Curie were doing their thing in their time, and were they wondering if they're going to be wiped out or substituted or taken over? The word prognosticate probably isn't new. It's probably old as the hills. And so we might just be repeating what people have done in the past in trying to figure this stuff out.
Yeah.
Well, the next thing that's coming that I think is going to change the world significantly, I mean, they've already had robots in manufacturing, or robotic manufacturing, if you will. What I've been seeing on Elon Musk's work is they're coming out with robots to do manual labor or menial labor, I'll say, like housekeeping and that type of thing. And I think that's going to, again, drastically change the world when those, I know they're building those in quantity now. And once those get on the market, again, life is going to change once again. So it's an interesting world that we're living in, and technology is advancing at such a rapid pace, mainly because of AI. Because having AI there to support and write code and come up with different ideas that are computer generated, but you got to think about it. They have such a vast repository of data to pull from. The ideas and the information that's coming from AI is at a different level than we can come up with ourselves. Go ahead, Fred.
All right, so besides making me think of the movies Revenge of the Nerds and Revenge of the Nerds 2, and maybe this is Revenge of the Nerds 3, one of the other places where AI slop is hitting, from what I read, and this is only through scholarly research of using AI and Google and things like that, not going on there to these platforms. But AI slop has even hit the or the dating platforms.
Yeah.
So who wants to try? So now AI. So I keep thinking about this, and I'm going to create an AI video of me. that obviously makes me have Wilton's old dreadlocks, about 30 years younger, and being able to lift 5 times the weight I currently do at the gym. This is what the woman I'm going to meet at a coffee shop, well, that would be my thing, is expecting to meet. And instead, they find me, PHRED. Now, if they don't die from the shock or go running, screaming out, that means they're out and out crazy because of the differential. So, go ahead, Barbara.
You know what, Fred? This is not a new problem. This is 20 years ago.
Oh my God.
Going onto dating sites, I did that. Maybe it was longer than 20 years ago, maybe 30. Anyway, it's a long time ago. And I had gone on a couple of dates. And guess what? You know, when I got there, the man was at least 10 years older than what his photo was. So this has been going on forever.
Oh,
That is so not new. Not at all.
fixing photos has been around, and it does amazing, making you look much younger than you are.
Right? I think they'd post their high school photos, you know, and think you wouldn't notice the difference when you got there.
So,
It was
all right, I grant you that. However, Deanna can talk about a contest we ran at lunch with Lynn for a bit, where I would grab screenshots of people on Zoom.
Oh, yeah.
And make them age 10 years and change sex. And the question was, could people guess who? And I'd put 4 of them up there and the original photo, and say, this is the original photo. Which one of these person is it? Usually the only way to tell was the eyes and the facial expression. Go for it.
No. When I was doing the online dating thing, I found that even back then the problem had to do with response filtering. Okay. I hope I don't offend anyone. I'm not trying to say anything about anyone. This kind of happened. Well, not kind of happened. It did happen. The part where you fill out your preference for who you want to date. They ask you all sorts of questions, up to and including ethnicity. You know, if you have a preference, and I don't have anything against someone who has a preference. I really don't. But if they state as their preference they don't want to date someone who looks like me, then Match.com computer, why are you sending me 12 profiles of women who state very clearly that they do not want to date someone who looks like me?
Okay, so my filter was always not a psycho.
No, psychos are right. You know, they can be fun on a Friday. But I wrote to them, and I called customer service, and it's like, do you have any idea how depressing that is? When it seems as though the only matches that you can come up for me
are psychos.
Don't want me.
Wait, so one question. Was this before they met you or after they met you?
No, they didn't meet me at all.
That's right, yeah.
And I mean, it's like, okay, I don't see AI being any better.
Oh no, just faster.
Yeah.
Yeah, they'll cycle through all 1.8 million women that are on there. They know, okay, well, no one for you. Bye bye.
No, they won't do that because then you'd quit paying for them.
But it's really nomatch.com.
Nomatch.com.
Nomatch.com,
Oh my gosh,
yes.
that's funny.
Or bad match, or
Yeah, it was.
All right, Deborah. Wait, I want to see if Deborah's had an online dating trauma.
First of all, y'all should know that in a few weeks, I will be 78. Okay?
You're not as old as Jim.
Oh,
nope,
well.
you're young.
Okay. And then I have been married for more than 30 years. So before my second husband and I met, I may have gone out once on a blind date. That's what we used to call it, blind date. Right? Maybe we did go back and forth online. It was the stupidest moment I can recall ever. It never happened again. And frankly, I'm very surprised that I actually got married for a second time after it. It just seemed like how can I put it? Dating is a very interesting experience.
Scary
right?
as hell.
It is scary, and I can remember sitting there with my husband in our first date, and he says to me, since I just sat there and stared at him, he says, okay, here's how it works. I say something, then you say something. And then I still just stared at him. And then he said, oh, I am so delighted to finally meet somebody who's more of an introvert than I am. And that helped. A recognition, right? And I don't think that AI has a recognition of the difference between an extrovert and an introvert. I could be wrong, but there is a tremendous difference in the personalities. How will AI deal with that?
Although there are some pretty well-known models for defining which is which.
Yeah, one's called a drop down.
Wait, isn't it Lance Briggs or something like that?
Drop down menu. In other words, are you an introvert? Are you an extrovert? Do you want to be involved involved with an introvert or an extrovert? Whichever Wilton's not, that's what they'll send
I
him.
wasn't thinking of anything that straightforward, Fred. There are some real tests for that, but anyway.
Myers-Briggs, I think, is the term you're looking for, Wilton.
They've been around for a long time.
Myers-Briggs,
Yeah.
yes.
Right. There's also a website called 16 Personalities, and it does a quite in-depth thing too. Interesting though. Yeah. Yeah.
And I've even seen one in are you a serial killer? Or do you have serial killer tendencies? I'm one short. Oh, sorry. Didn't mean to say that. Come on, Mary, bring it down. You and Deanna have been quiet, and you're the young folk.
Well, I've been married for 16 years now, so I haven't been on dating sites for a long time, and I actually liked dating. It was fun, but
Number one test of are you a serial killer?
do you like dating?
I have a serial killer too.
When I get on Zoom calls with people that I am just connecting with, I had one gentleman come on the call with me, and he goes, "Oh my gosh, you look just like your profile picture." Yes, I do. So I think to everyone's point here, nobody looks like they actually look anymore on their profiles because AI has touched everybody up. But do you guys remember how up in arms people were when Julia Roberts was airbrushed in a magazine back in the early 2000s or late 90s? It was a big deal. And all of a sudden, nobody's not airbrushed anymore. Everybody is. Everybody What, Fred?
I was going to say, people tell me, wow, you look a lot worse in person. Or actually, you look a lot better than your photo.
Oh.
Usually it's got the horns or something like. Never mind. Barbara, do you want to chime in on Julia? Who was Julia Roberts?
Yeah, no, Jim seemed to recognize that. I don't recall that at all.
I do, yeah.
Yeah, it was a big deal. It was in London or something like that. It was a perfume ad or I don't know, something like that. And people were ballistic over it.
I heard Kate Winslet.
Were they happy or were they mad?
They were horrified.
Unhappy about it.
Unhappy.
I heard Kate Winslet, her body got modified in a magazine article, and she was mad about it because it didn't represent her, and she felt like the magazine was doing it to try and say that women should look thinner, or be slim or whatever. Anyway, it's interesting, I mean, I guess it's been around for so long. I get that was back in at least 20 years ago from the Titanic movie. They put her in a magazine after that and slimmed her down.
They did the
I have
same.
to admit, I don't remember dating, and if I did, I would be in huge trouble.
Yeah, you would be.
Since I've been married for, a really long time.
Wilton, you're going to say something?
No, I was just thinking of. I think they did that to Diane Sawyer.
Yeah.
When switched networks or something, she was going to be on a morning show, and they took a picture of her and they slimmed her down, and she basically told them that they had to change that, and they had to run this massive ad campaign showing what she actually looked like instead of their doctored photos in the promos for it.
See,
Good for her.
I've always gone with I remember the phrase WYSIWYG.
Yep.
Yep.
I just introduced that phrase to my husband a couple days ago. I go, that's WYSIWYG.
I know that one.
Everyone, what you see is what you get.
That's graphic artists, right? That's
PHRED. What you see is what you get.
I see.
Deanna, we went for young with Mary. What you got to say?
I mean, we've been all over the place with today's conversation, so.
Yeah, but in dating, we're talking about dating.
Look, dating is supposed to be traumatizing. You're not supposed to have a safety net, so because you're not supposed to date to begin with, but we're not going to get into that conversation. So, I mean, AI and dating, catfishing is a term that's been around for half of eternity, and this is just the newest version of that.
Ooh, catfishing, yeah. Not only so AI in scamming people. Ooh, so that'll be the last round. Well,
Fred, I mean...
No, you're right.
Make the argument that a woman who wears too much makeup is scamming her partner. What do you call it when you touch up your photos so you look 30 years younger and 80 pounds lighter?
I agree with you, and I can always tell on Facebook when, their legs are 9 inches longer than they normally are, or the make is far more perfect than you could ever get outside of a Hollywood airbrush. And honestly, like I said, I don't get it. I'm WYSIWYG. What you see is what you get. That's where we start the discussion. You don't like that? I got to be here. You don't. Off you go. But then it takes it. Bring it, Deborah. Mm-hmm.
Notice that most of the discussion of changing the photos using AI to make it look younger revolves around women. Okay? And the culture that we have is that in order for us to be appealing, we have to be young, we have to have we have to be thinner, we have to have this, that, and the other, and AI helps. Now, a lot of people, just kind of go on a diet or whatever it is to fit this. But as somebody who is involved in cultural things, I'd like to say The very first article I ever published was entitled, "Older Women Are the Glue of Society." And people do not understand that older women have an incredible amount of skills, people skills, knowledge, and to try and erase it in this photo really pisses me off.
Freaking men. It's the wrong thing.
Totally agree.
I think it. So every time I say something about, I see more women doing it, and my wife looks at me and goes, "No, the men are doing it too. You just don't see it as much." Okay.
Yep.
That's because you're not looking at the men as much, aren't you, Fred?
That's the algorithm that Facebook and LinkedIn shoves down my throat. The Twitter algorithm's different, but I've noticed the Facebook and the Instagram algorithms sync up, and that's why I go through random delete, hide. This to me, it does piss me off. It's you go down that. I have no problem using AI to improve the quality of an image, but when you're altering the image, like I said, I could turn any one of you, make you the opposite sex and either 20 years older. In Jim's case, he'd be Skeletor.
That's or me 20 years older would be easy.
Yeah, you'll be all the titanium infrastructure.
Cricket, not Skeletor. Jiminy Cricket.
Jiminy Cricket, okay. His Wolverine substructure will be showing. Or I could make you 20, 30, 40 years younger.
Not Wolverine, because that wouldn't work for us.
Yeah, I know. Wait, babe. Had to get the sports moment in. So, what do we do about it? Part of it's...
That was right.
There's nothing that...
Yeah, there's nothing you can do, right?
No. Mm-mm.
Surrender, Dorothy.
Go ahead. Anyone else? You want to chime in?
No, well, I mean, as far as the dating thing is concerned, I don't know if Match.com is still a thing, since we now have what is it, Tinder, where it's either swipe right or swipe left, and I mean, there's no profile to be read. It's just a picture and maybe a line, and you make a 10-second decision about whether or not you're going to see someone.
So, I'm going to share about Tinder for a second. So, just real quick. So, my husband works with a man who is single and on Tinder, right? And he's swiping through, and he shows a picture to my husband. He goes, "What do you think about her?" He goes, yeah, she's good looking." He goes, "That's a dude."
Oh, jeez.
What you're gonna get on those apps, right?
So so we both had, Valerie and Wilton basically said surrender, give up. I want to know on that topic, isn't there anything we can do, or is it just surrender? Anyone else want to chime in? Put their votes in of whether it's surrender or never.
Personally, just going to stay in what my kids call the cringe bucket and do things the old school way, because as long as we refuse to give up the old school way of doing things, it will continue to live, even if it becomes a minority.
Okay, who else? Deborah?
I just carry on the way I am, and it's been interesting that, especially here in the South, older gray-haired ladies get away with everything. We can say whatever we want, we can do whatever we want, and so I do.
There you go. I'll just chime in with this. I know two younger people that were single. Both of them, and this is kind of from coaching, both of them were very adamant, I do not want to meet anyone online. And they were adamant about it. The age range was like 25 and 34.
All right. So,
right there.
Jim, Mary, or Deanna, is it never give up, never surrender, or just suck it up and deal with it?
I think we need to seek out human relationships on purpose.
She said answer C.
I think that it actually points out to you. I mean, we've talked about the fact that not just AI, but technology generally has removed the ability for whatever the gens are younger than me. Well, everybody is. But,
All of them.
Yeah. Have lost the key skill of critical thinking.
Oh, now you're sounding
Now,
like
I
me.
would add to that human-to-human interaction, which is so important anyway. So that's one of the books I'm going to write one of these days.
Yeah, he's got to get the idea to exit done first. Don't
I know, one at a time.
reel
And by the way,
him in.
Deborah, I really like all the books behind you, actually.
Which our listeners can't see, but that's okay, folks.
And I have, well, Fred knows.
Yeah, he's got a whole library too.
Piles of books, yeah.
All right. Who did we get it? So what is the prognosis? Is it never give up, never surrender, fight to be stubborn, grim, stubborn determination to go forward?
Never give up, never surrender, and if you think you're going to lose, kick them in the shins.
I'd go for somebody else, somewhere else. But
I was thinking somewhere else, but that's...
That'll work.
you heard it here, folks. Kick 'em where it counts. Never give up, never surrender. We'll be back again in a couple of weeks with another episode down the rabbit hole of KPHRED Prime Live with my co-host Barbara Wainwright. I'm PHRED. Want to thank Jim Trelevin, Valerie Smith, Deborah Levin. I hope I didn't botch that. Deanna Brakefield, Mary A. Hart, and Wilton the Wise.
Mary Hart? Wait a minute. You mean Mary?
Wilton the Wise.
Farias,
like
not that. Sorry.
Farias. Mary Farias.
Farias. All right, and I get corrected one last time on my outro. Now, listen to some music for a second.
The eyes.
Wilton the Wise. I like that.